Hey guys, how's it going? Coach with Alex Lorenzo, FS Group. Great guy, great channel. My name's Will, basically the crypto candle. Basically, I'm going to go over some tips and tricks on how to kind of find those positions for entries and exits. I think that these entry and exit position tricks are really great. Obviously, I've kind of put some styles together from different people I've looked at. Obviously, some YouTubers, some people I know as far as in the group, and my own methods at the same time. And I think that overall, this is a great method to kind of use and help you move forward and understand actual resistances and supports. Now, a lot of people traditionally like to think that support and resistances are based off of what are actual supports, right? So where do we come down to, and where do we bounce, right? So support there, you know, maybe a support here and a support here, and that's what people would typically think is support. And they'd be like, all right, this is support, and they'd be like, this is support, and this is a support, right? And that's the way they would look at supports. Well, I want you to take this, and yes, you are correct in some ways that this is the right support, but in other ways, there's a better way to find those supports, right? So the way to find those supports is typically to come up and find your trend, right? Because the trend is what? The trend is your friend. So you're trying to find the trend of the movement. The trend of the movement is what? It's an upward position, right? So if our trend is in an upward position, I'm trying to come as close to all my candles as possible. Obviously, I'm cutting through this one a little bit, but I'm looking to basically have my candles meet here on my trend, basically, aka the candle's friend. So every time you get a coin, and this will work on any coin, you get what we call an overextension to the outside, right? Once that overextension occurs, you can expect that same overextension to come back to the trend line, right? And basically, if I were to enter here on a long, and I were to take this, as long as I stay on this trend, I stay in the trade. Now, again, this is on longer time frames and allows you to kind of get in and out of trades and hold trades for days at a time. Again, we can account for this in leveraging. We can account for this in coins, right? Buy and sell. Again, come up and overextend, and what happens? We come back to meet our trend again, right? Does it have to touch the trend line? No, it does not. But these key positions where it tries to are key positions I watch as actual supports. Boom. Overextension to the outside. It needs to come back to meet its trend. Price manipulation. Boom. Push up and then sideways. And then what does it do? Comes back and meets its trend again, right? So after it meets its trend again, we know that it's going to do what? Because it's finding support. It's going to take off, right? So we stay in the trade. Boom. Right? To the upside. One top, two top, this should be your exit. Double top, right? Double top is not a good position to be in. You typically don't want to run into these. Again, 4-hour confirmation, right? So I looked at it on the what? On the 1 hour. I looked at it on the 4-hour. I look at it on the 15. I want to see if this trend line that I have looks good. I'm using multiple hours / minutes to confirm that my current trend line that I'm using is a good trend line. So once I confirm that, I'm able to kind of stay in the trade, right? So if I'm looking at this from an hourly standpoint, I can tell you this. See how we hold position? Hold position, hold position, hold position. We never really break under the trend. The minute we break under the trend, right? If you follow by the rule, under, 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 we're breaking trend now, right? You need to stay following the flow, otherwise you're looking to change trends. So I notice that I'm running under. I need to find that new trend, right? So how would I find that new trend? Well, you're probably like, well, you could see the future. Let's say we can't see the future, right? So I see I'm running under. So we're going to let this play out. Boom, right? Actually, I need to back this up a little bit. Sorry about that. Let's close this. We're going to redo that. We're going to come in here. We're going to hit replay. And we're going to say we're right here, right? We're like, all right, guys, we're getting ready to come back and meet the trend and bounce and keep going. So I can stay in my long, aka or buy more tokens. Obviously, we've got a a double top here, so that's reconfirmation to exit your position, but maybe I don't notice that. And then boom, it gets back up above my trend. I'll get my trend. Oh, guess what? Under my trend. Boom. Can't break back above, guys. Look at that. Having difficulty. Boom, right here. Right there. This candle, I enter for a short. Completely closes below the trend. That's confirmation. We're getting ready to move to the downside. So from here, I'm looking to create a new trend line, right? So a new trend line goes this way. And I'm basically looking to now, rather than have support underneath, have a ceiling on top, right? And I've seen nobody discuss this part of it, all right? So we're gonna play this out. We're gonna speed this up a little bit. Let's see what happens here. Boom. What do we notice there, guys? I flip from a long to a short. Comes down to here. And then does what? Boom. And I drew this trend before I saw any of this, guys. You guys just watch me. Right there. Confirmation for entry for an upside. Boom. What do we do when the candles start to slow down? When they get smaller, that's an exit. Right? What else do we know here? This is also a resistance, right? So if we take and mix this whole strategy with the same strategy we used to come up and follow this trend, we should be looking to also have our horizontal support / resistance, right? So see this right here? See this right here? So not only do we have the trend, we also have our horizontal resistances / supports. So I'm expecting this to either come and bounce or break this position. If it breaks this, it comes down to here. Right? So that's our next support next to the trend line. So yes, it's not directly on the trend, but it's basically a retrace to try and get back to the trend, right? This whole thing right here. All right, so now we're gonna deal with the next part. We're gonna hit play. Boom. What do we see right there, guys? What do we see? We see a trend up, right? So the second we find support on this flat position, red candle right here, you don't have to enter this one. Enter the green confirmation candle, guys. Green confirmation. So yeah, you could have entered here, but really you should have entered as soon as it closed, which would have been right here. And then as soon as you would have closed this, you would have got a red candle. This would not have been enough to wake you out. And then watch what happens here. Now, before we move any further, what do we see forming here? So yes, we're moving up. We're trying to follow the next trend, guys. Next trend, that way. What are we noticing? Boom. This is where we are right now. So keep this in mind. This is basically trends, all right? So on that same scenario, your trend here is your top. Your trend over here, right? When you're moving up is your bottom, right? So trend. See how perfectly these things nestle right against it? Break and trend, downside, right? So break and trend. Right there. So our trend is what? Our trend is our top on this one, right? So if our trend is our top, we're looking to break current trend, right? Whenever you're going down at your top, whenever you're going up at your bottom, pull away, come back. Pull away, come back, right? Whenever you overextend away from your trend line, it always wants to come back to meet it, guys. We don't enter shorts here. We enter shorts here, right? Boom, comes back. Guess what? Does not lick me out. I am not scared until it breaks this trend, guys. All right? Boom, falls again. What does it do? It comes back and nestles perfectly on our trend, right? Boom, right? And then what do we see? Comes back and nestles on our trend. I don't exit this trade until this trade tells me to exit. Boom, come back underneath. What do we get right here? A perfect close above, guys. Technically, I could take a long here, and I can ride this up. And then I would basically look at exit on candle confirmation. Once that candle confirmation happened, boom, down, right? And what do we see here? We broke back under the trend. So really, I could have just stayed in this mood the whole time, but I don't think it would have been smart to do that. Once we end up coming back up, what do we notice? We notice we have a new trend, right? Our new trend is here. You guys see it? Boom. Comes back, overextends, comes back and meets. Overextends, comes back and meets. Overextends, comes back and breaks under. This is an exit for a short. Right? And then we ride our short on what? On the ceiling, guys. When it breaks the ceiling, what does that turn into? It turns into a long. Right? How does longs work? Underneath, guys. Longing, boom, double top, break below, time to go in for a short, right? Short into a long. What are we noticing here? See this bigger macro trend right here? See that? This is a bigger macro trend right here, right? Just like what we're experiencing right now with Bitcoin. And really, we can even kind of raise that to there. And what are we seeing? Our support right there, right? So fall, 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 boom. Reversal. Reversal occurs where? Same zone as our previous bottom, right? We call this an SMS. From there to there. It's basically where the market stops short of falling deeper, stops short of hitting the same position. That means a switch. Now we're going to switch to the upside. Do I have to enter here? No. Where can I get confirmation? Support, guys. Support. Right? So where's our support? It's a horizontal support. And now our horizontal support is where? Right here. Look at that matchup. Downtrend, right? Our macro downtrend. Our macro uptrend. Our support line. But maybe we don't see our macro uptrend yet. Either way, we find support on this macro downtrend, right? Came up, find support. Really, our entry could have occurred here. And then we would have came back, and then we would have took off, guys. We would have took off, right? And we would have looked for our pullback, and we know that there's maybe one more pump left in this bad boy. And then a breakdown and an exit, right, to the downside. So what was support has now become a ceiling. I hope this helps you guys out throughout your charting and helps you understand how charting works and helps you understand what supports and resistances are. Remember, they're not just horizontal. They can be many different directions. We should look at these and try and keep them as an instance in our mind, right? It's the same thing with falling wedges and declining wedges, right? Falling wedges are typically end up in a reversal, whereas inclined wedges also end up in a reversal, right? It's where the push is so significant to the upside and then it just falls out. So keep that in mind too. We can basically look at this right here, BTC current movement, as a falling wedge, right? So how does that work? You have a wedge here, you have a movement right there, and we are basically pinching to the top, right? So how are we pinching to the top? You're probably like, what are you talking about? Well, boom, right? And in reality, it could even come up to here, right? That's a pinch on an inclined wedge, and right now it's indicating that it pretty much is ready to fall over. We'll see how this plays out. Again, this could play out a little more like this, right? We could say that's it right there. Either way, this looks like an inclined wedge. Inclined wedges go up, they pinch, and they fall the opposite direction. Same thing with decline. Decline goes down, it pinches, and it shoves up. So, quick tip and tutorial on good ways to enter and exit on positions, on movements. Again, you can confirm these through different times: 15-minute, 30-minute, 1 hour, 4 hour. You're looking to confirm that you're seeing the same thing, guys, on every time frame. Daily, maybe you won't see it on a daily. But these are things you can use and utilize to kind of figure out what your current position is and where BTC is going and where it is. Same thing on the weekly. I think the weekly allows you to see a bigger macro trend as far as what's going on. It allows you to kind of see further in the future. I hope this helps out. Again, Will, Crypto Candle with Alex Lorenzo, as far as FS Crunch. And I hope this little tip, trick, and tutorial helps you guys out. Until next time, see you guys later.